Good, y'all.
What's going on, everybody?
All right. Now, yesterday, y'all saw us react to the Eddie Burback video about eating at every rainforest cafe in the country. So we couldn't leave you in 2023 without doing the I ate at every single Margaritaville that they did earlier this summer.
How would you classify Margaritaville? I would honestly classify it as a step above Rainforest Cafe, but not miles in front of it.
It's in the same general
I've
mall.
never been to one.
I've never either. I've seen Jimmy Buffett live, but I haven't been to one of his Margaritaville restaurants, hotels, whatever.
No. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot up here in Maryland. I couldn't tell you where one is.
Oh, Margaritaville?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Although I do know that he does visit every year because one of his favorite places is Boatyard. Was Boatyard in Annapolis. It's one of his favorite crab cakes when he was with us. Yes. R.I.P.
Man.
Anyway, you ready?
Yeah, man. Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
I think we made it to Margaritaville. I don't know about you.
Oh, my God.
So, you clicked on the video thinking, is this guy really going to go to every Margaritaville in the country? Well, technically, that title is a lie. Because I'm going to every Margaritaville in the country and Canada! Margaritaville, a tropical beach-themed restaurant chain created by America's greatest singer-songwriter, James William Buffett, aka Jimmy Buffett. Now, if you don't know who Jimmy Buffett is, let me catch you up before we hit the road.
Hi, I'm Jimmy.
Jimmy Buffett is a multi-platinum artist who's been touring the world since the 1980s. But think of Jimmy less as a musician and more like royalty. Because this man has built an empire in the last few decades by not just writing tropical country-style songs, but by creating a world around his music. And no song has built that empire more than Margaritaville. Margaritaville is a simple tune created by Jimmy in the late 70s that then inspired the creation of his restaurant, Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. As the business started to thrive, they made Margaritaville shirts, shot glasses, keychains, and other merch until they expanded to Margaritaville hotels and resorts across the globe. But the restaurant that started it all is the official Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. There are 22 locations in the United States and Canada, with one in development in Boston, Massachusetts. And we will be hitting every single one. Last year, Ted Nivison and I went to every single rainforest cafe in the country. There were 18 total locations, and it took us 3 weeks to do it. The trip also nearly drove me insane.
Oh my God.
So you must be thinking, what kind of moron would go on such a pointless road trip, not enjoy it, and then decide just 1 year later to do another, even longer, pointless road trip? The night before we started our trip across the entire...
You gotta admit it, the guy has dedication.
Hey, man, and his editing skills are awesome. It's very watchable.
Yeah. I am drawing inspiration from him because those in the community know I've got like 3 big road trips planned for 2024. Nashville, New York City, Toronto. Those are the 2, and then UK and Ireland. Yeah. So I'm drawing inspiration from Mr. Eddie Burback here.
Hey, Spence is taking notes. I am just enjoying this man's content because he's very entertaining, man. That's the key to it. That's the key to it, man. You gotta have fun with it.
Yeah. God almighty. That would be worth it to go to every single Margaritaville in the country.
Yes.
And Canada.
And Canada. They count.
Yeah, they do.
United States for 24 days, we decided to go to the first Margaritaville. Now, the closest one located to us is the one at City Walk at Universal Studios Hollywood. City Walk is just an outdoor mall in front of the theme park, but you might recognize it from Justin Bieber's famous music video, Baby. And I can't tell you what kind of honor it was to start this journey where Ludacris himself told us that when he was 13, he had his first love. As we headed toward the restaurant, I was getting increasingly nervous because this trip...
You allergic to Beepsy Weepsy?
Man.
Yeah.
God, thank God we moved on as a society.
Yeah. It used to be the internet's, punching bag. About, was it 12 years ago?
12, about when he first came on the scene, right? Or was it? How long has I don't even remember.
Like 09, 10, something like that. And before YouTube removed dislikes, Baby was the most disliked video on YouTube, and then Rebecca Black blew that out the water. Friday, So, what a throwback,
man!
To think that like Justin Bieber is now starting to become dad pop.
Yeah, right. Weird.
God Almighty!
Oh my God.
Is even longer, so I was about to find out what I was dedicating a 12th of my year to. After finally arriving, we were greeted almost immediately by the Margaritaville sign. And I could not have guessed what was inside. Jimmy Buffett's likeness plastered across the entire restaurant. Jimmy's music was playing on the speakers. There was Jimmy-themed food, Jimmy drinks. There was a giant Jimmy Buffett's margarita blender. There were even screens playing Jimmy video at the table. It began to dawn on me that this restaurant wasn't named after just one song, Margaritaville, that Jimmy Buffett made. This entire restaurant was a cult, dedicated to everything Jimmy Buffett. They even had my favorite Jimmy Buffett quote on the wall. Pour me something tall and strong. This door is to remain unlocked during business hours. As we were seated, we were given the absolute honor of sitting at the boat table. Now, the boat table was interesting because it's a table that looks like a boat. But finally, it was time for the moment of truth. The menu. I was about to find out what 22 meals of the next 24 days of my life would look like. And to my surprise, it actually wasn't that bad. On our last trip, I was shocked to find things like Mojo Bones, Boom Boom Sauce, Iggy's Piggy Sandwich, and more. But this menu looked pretty normal, other than the fact that the names of the items were themed to Jimmy Buffett songs that I didn't know. For my drink, I ordered the perfect margarita, and as somebody who loves margaritas, I feel like that name is a little too confident, and after tasting it, I was correct. Perfect margarita? Jimmy, I might want to call this the just okay margarita. Now that's a Buffett burn. The group got some onion rings as an appetizer, and as we waited for our entrees, we were just having a good time. I did notice that there was a stage in this restaurant. It looks like it's fully prepared for live music, but it was completely empty for us, so I'm kind of wondering what that's all about. For my entree, I decided to start my Margaritaville marathon with a cheeseburger in paradise, which I believe is Jimmy's second biggest song. The burger was exactly what you'd expect out of a chain restaurant. I also need to stress that we are not being paid by Margaritaville on this trip, so as this journey progresses, I will be criticizing Margaritaville the whole way. But Jimmy, if you're watching this, I do take bribes. So our first dinner experience.
Oh man. Well, granted, this video wasn't made after Jimmy passed. It was before he passed.
Yes.
So
hopefully you saw it.
Yeah, hope so. And hopefully maybe this is the cause. No, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But
oh man,
it certainly helped with search terms.
Oh yes.
Like, boost this video in the algorithm.
Hell yeah, it did.
Like, as of time of this recording, it's the day that that guy from the Pogues passed away, and now he's not with us anymore. Man. And so Fairy Tale of New York is getting a little bit of a boost right now.
Wow, it's crazy, man.
Rest in power.
Rest in power, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Just gotta send a quick text message to Nana, and then I'll.
You're good. You're good. Take your time. Oh man, I like this guy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's really entertaining, and like he was one of those guys, like, he used to be, like, best friends with Gus Johnson until all that stuff came out about how he treated his ex-girlfriend. And
Gus Johnson. I don't know who that is.
Or a shotgun video.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah. Well, now, helicoplam.
No, that one. That one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He and Eddie used to do a podcast, and then all that stuff came out, and Eddie wiped his hands clean of Gus and has gone out on his own now doing stuff like this.
All right. Has this gotten a good amount of viewers?
Oh yeah, it's like
millions.
What is it at? 6.4 mil.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Was exactly what you'd expect out of a chain restaurant. The food and drinks were just okay, but it was a dinner with a bunch of friends where we were just having drinks and hanging out, so I had a blast. But that fun was cut short because it was time to say goodbye. Ted and I officially sealed our fate with a handshake because tomorrow we begin one of the most pointless journeys of our entire lives. So I woke up this morning.
All right, so it's the same guy from last time.
Hopefully they fix his truck.
Yeah,
fix his truck.
Yeah. So apparently he also made videos of both of these journeys from his point of view.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's, but we'll stick to this one. So, yeah.
I like this guy's style, man.
He has good style, that's for sure. And I'll just say this: like, the food looked all right in Margaritaville.
Yeah,
it didn't look terrible.
It's what. My thing is, you can't put a bar on a chain restaurant. You can't have that. It's a chain restaurant.
Like you mean a bar of standards, or like
a
bar with alcohol?
No, a bar of standards.
Oh,
at least for this case, there's going to be a bar every restaurant at least.
Yeah. You need at least 5 Margaritaville margaritas to get through this shit every single stop.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Goodness.
With a stomach ache. I think it was almost definitely the Margaritaville food because I had nothing but a breakfast sandwich that morning and then the cheeseburger in paradise and 2 perfect margaritas. Completing this Margaritaville trip will mean that I've done 2 tours and I've already experienced my first casualty. My tummy. My tummy hurts. I have a tummy ache. I really hope my tummy doesn't hurt most days of the trip. My tummy hurts. You guys don't know how hard it is to be a YouTuber. So the plan for the first day was to drive from LA to Phoenix because the next Margaritaville on our trip was the one in San Antonio, Texas. Now last year we took Ted's 2002 Toyota Tacoma across the country. And Ted is over there with the Tacoma as it gets loaded onto a tow truck. So this year, to avoid ruining Ted's car for good, we decided to rent a newer Tacoma. And I'll be honest, Ted was in denial quite a bit. It's not squeaking, it's fine.
I feel like I'm hearing a squeak right now. This is too clean.
The tires are fine.
I have ears like a dog, so maybe it might be dog whistle.
I think it might be tinnitus. So for the second and final time, we hit the road again. Over 9,000 miles, 22 restaurants, and 24 days on the road.
Oh my God,
24 days of my life for Margaritaville. One thing Ted and I immediately realized while driving was that we did not get a truck cover for the rental. And you can't just have your stuff out in the open for rain or for somebody to steal. We decided to go with camo so people wouldn't see our valuables in the truck bed. They would assume there was just a nice little forest back there. Finally, it was time for bed. We had completed the first day of our new journey, but not before we experienced the smoothest and quietest elevator ride of my entire life.
Jesus.
Day 2, the plan for the day is to drive from Phoenix to El Paso. I went for a quick run in the morning and then I hopped into my favorite elevator. Once again, we hit the open road, and I gotta say, as someone who's been pretty busy lately, it's been really nice to just drive and not think about it. Wait, what is that? What is the thing? Sorry, as I was saying, it's just good to get out there and hit the open road. Is that another The Thing sign? Okay, there are a lot of The Thing signs, and we need to stop for gas anyways, so I guess we'll pull off and see it. I would never be able to guess, though, what was in store for me behind those doors. In front of us was an entire museum dedicated to the what-if scenario of if aliens had come to Earth while dinosaurs were here. Now, I didn't know you could make an entire museum off of a hypothetical scenario, but apparently the aliens had come to teach the dinosaurs technology, and they were there to teach them technology until a war broke out between the aliens and the dinosaurs. The war got to a point where eventually the aliens had to click a big button and send a meteor hurtling towards Earth. And the exhibit didn't stop there. It told us about all the hypothetical secrets of our history. What if the aliens were a part of World War II? What if they drove around Winston Churchill in a car? And what if 9/11?
Are we implying what I think that we're implying here?
What if
9/11.
Ted did it? Finally, it was time for the main event. The Thing. Ted and I inched toward it, terrified of what this secret would hold and what it would mean to our lives. And I was shocked to find that it was just some papier-mâché fake skeleton thing. And not only that, the guy who said he found the thing's name was Binkley. Number one rule in life, I'm not listening to anyone named Binkley. Day 3, and it is time
But that reminds me of, was it south of the border? It's something off I-95 on the NC South Carolina state border. It's like nobody knows why it's there. It seems like it's always deserted, but it's got like a dinosaur theme, and everyone has all these conspiracy theories about it.
I don't know what you're talking about. South
You
of
don't
the
know what
border. I thought that was a Mexican food joint.
It could be. I don't know, but anyway. But
Okay.
that's like whatever they just visited, the thing. That's the equivalent of that in El Paso, Texas.
Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome. I would love to go there just because. What the hell is like in the cut of a trinket shop? So you know it's real.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Add that to your list of WTF America.
Yeah.
To our non-American audience here.
Yep. That is a required stop now.
Yes. 100%.
for Margaritaville number 2. Ted and I spent most of our day crossing about halfway through Texas until we finally arrived at the San Antonio Riverwalk. We actually came here last year, and I just like this spot a lot. It's a very beautiful place in the city. So we finally located our second Margaritaville and met up with our friend Schlatt, who would be joining us for this meal. Now, this being my second Margaritaville ever, I was actually surprised that it looked somewhat similar to the one in City Walk, but it also had like a Texas twist to all of the theming. Immediately when we sat down, I spotted this quote on the wall, and I had to know where it was from. Turns out it's from one of Jimmy's songs called Who's the Blonde Stranger, where the main character of the song vacations in Texas with his wife, then proceeds to cheat on her with a blonde stranger while she's getting over a sunburn, but when he wakes up hungover, he finds that she's also cheating on him with a different blonde stranger named Dan. Is this important to the overall trip? No. Is it important to me that you knew this? Yes. Anyways, I ordered the fish and chips. Margaritaville has so much fried fish and shrimp on the menu that I thought I should definitely try their fish and chips because it must be a flagship dish for them. As we waited for our food, I ordered a watermelon margarita that was way too sweet. I also mentioned a stage at the last Margaritaville where it looked like live music could be played. That was happening here, which was kind of nice to hear just somebody play live music in a chain restaurant. Finally, my fish and chips arrived, and these look like frozen fish fillets to you, right?
Hey, Eddie, I cooked those up in my microwave the other day.
They tasted okay, and we had a fun time just chatting and drinking over dinner. We seemed to be in the most Texas corner of the entire restaurant. It had the two things that Texas is famous for: cattle and a big old puddle next to your table. When you see a big old puddle, you know you're in Texas. After finishing dinner, we decided to stroll around the even bigger puddle, the San Antonio River, but not before Ted gracefully took a seat in this big Margaritaville chair.
Nice.
And honestly, after it was just a really nice time strolling around this area, I remember liking this last year, but for some reason I associate it with something negative. And I can't quite put my finger on what it was, but honestly, I'm having such a good time that it doesn't even matter anymore. Alright, I think...
Oh, man.
Just flashbacks. Oh, God. Oh, God. Get me out of here. Oh, man.
He was having such a good time. That seems like a fun area of San Antonio.
It really does, man. It really does.
Yeah.
Like, and then that happens.
Yeah, I'm sure there's better options than both Margaritaville and Rainforest Cafe. I hope there is.
I hope there is.
Yeah, because it looks rustic as hell.
It looks very nice. It looks very nice. It looks like a like any sort of upscale waterfront.
Yeah,
like, dining place.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
That looks like it's in the middle of a mall, bro. Like, look at it.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, dude.
Oh
man,
that look is just priceless.
Yeah, that look is amazing.
Yeah.
You're gonna grow out hey, bro, you're gonna just shave it all and just keep your mustache.
To my mustache, for
the vlog. Yeah.
I don't know about that, man. We'll see. You know, he has an immaculate mustache. Like,
he really
that
does.
Is really great. Like,
it's like your dad's mustache, you know, like that's like your grandfather's mustache. That's your ancestors' mustache right there. Like, that's in the old-timey photos.
Yeah.
It's time to head to bed for the night. Okay, day 4 of the trip, and we're headed from Austin, Texas to New Orleans, Louisiana. And as we made our way across Texas, we decided to stop at Buc-ee's. If you're unaware of what Buc-ee's is, it is a chain of absolutely massive gas stations. It is chaotic in there, but people love it. They make their own food inside, they have their own merch. People lose their mind for Buc-ee, but to be honest, he kind of creeps me out a little bit. And some of these Buc-ee's are so big, busy, and frantic that as a child, you could easily get lost. Buc-ee's nuts. Ted. Did I say child? Because I meant adult. I have lost Ted. I am not freaking out, and Buc-ee doesn't scare me, but yeah, where is Ted? I can't find Ted. All I can find is everything Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's rubs, Buc-ee's nuts, Buc-ee's pillows, Buc-ee's blankets, Buc-ee's onesies. This place is so big, I'm never gonna find him. I'm gonna be stuck in this Buc-ee's forever. I'm gonna have to move in with Buc-ee. He's gonna be my roommate. Where is Ted? Oh, he's just at the checkout aisle. Whew. Crisis averted. We also ran into this dude Braden, who had met us last year while we were on the trip for the Rainforest Cafes because he watches our videos. What are the odds that we see the same guy in a different part of Texas 1 year later for this trip? After our stop at Buc-ee's, we drove all the way.
Okay. Have you been to a Buc-ee's before?
No, because I've okay, so my relationship with Texas is I've always flown there. Never driven. And the last time I was in Texas, I was a kid. So I have not driven around Texas.
Got it.
So yeah. So that's a commuter thing. You find a Buc-ee's when you have to drive.
Yeah. And you're driving down 95 in the coming weeks. So
is there a Buc-ee's? There's no way.
Yeah, there's one in South Carolina, there's a couple in Georgia and in Florida.
But not North Carolina, is there?
Not North Carolina, but I highly recommend it. Like they're not exaggerating about anything they said about Buc-ee's. Okay. In fact, I made a TikTok about it on my lifestyle channel. I don't know if I'll link it here or not, or if I'll just cut it in here, but it's massive. And
is it? Damn.
Yeah. Great jerky, nuts, the brisket sandwich, and the fudge are amazing, and their in-house sodas.
That's
amazing.
Crazy. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
A lot of good stuff there.
Fair
I would
enough.
highly recommend it to you and to anybody who's traveling in the United States, especially the Southeast.
So
Texas.
That's you said there's one in Georgia?
I think so. And there's one in South Carolina.
Okay.
I know that much. And the gas is usually a lot cheaper than in other gas stations. Yeah,
Crazy.
and
All right.
because they make their money inside, you
Yeah.
know?
Wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I would recommend.
All right.
Yeah.
Way to New Orleans. No Margaritaville this night, so we went out on Bourbon Street and had some drinks and a good time. I didn't record a lot because I just wanted to focus on relaxing and having a good time, so we will see you tomorrow. Hitting the road today is special because for the first time on the trip, Ted and I are headed to stay at our first Margaritaville hotel. This one was in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we were shocked pulling into the parking lot. Before us was a massive building right on the water of the Gulf of Mexico. But Ted needed the room to get some work done, so I decided to explore and see what this whole place was all about. And as I headed up the escalator in the main part of the building, I was met with one of the largest arcades I'd ever seen in my life. They had everything: rock climbing, zip lines, bowling, and even the globally known and incredibly popular game Stinky Feet. Apparently, this place used to be a failed Margaritaville casino that was converted into a family resort, which would explain the giant arcade floor. And as I explored a bit more and saw a pool and a theme park attached, I started to realize just how many Jimmy Buffett quotes echoed throughout the halls. They were on screens, in elevators, near the pool. I caught people talking about Jimmy to each other and to me. The quotes were all about living his lifestyle, and it started to feel like I booked a one-night stay into a Jimmy Buffett cult. After that, I met up with Ted to go to dinner, which was located above the arcade next to the volcano rock climbing wall. The menu was different here with a flaming crawfish.
Wow, that's
very crazy because that's a staple in Biloxi is casinos.
Yeah. Get big gambling area.
Oh, massive! It's the only area. That town, holy crap, man! It's beautiful. Like I had to, my buddy Derek and I drove down to
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Yeah, we drove down to New Orleans, and we took the highway through Biloxi.
Oh,
we bordered the coast. We went that way. And we went through Biloxi, and it's just like massive casino, massive casino, massive casino. And it's like, that's the only jobs around there are the casinos.
Shit.
So it's interesting how a casino failed.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. I guess Jimmy saw a need in the market for a family-oriented place.
Yeah.
And
yeah, man.
Disguised it, now it's a hotel. There's a theme park. There's a water park. So, and an arcade inside there. So,
crazy.
So there's a place for the kids to go, and mom and dad can have a margarita while they're taking a break from gambling away the kids' college fund.
Yeah, pretty much. But that looks awesome. I was actually telling my wife, I wanted to take a road trip down to Biloxi.
Okay.
Because of the atmosphere, because she likes the casinos.
Yeah, this seems right up her alley.
Yeah, especially with a beach right there. That's my alley. The Gulf beach is nice. So I was like, this is best of both worlds.
Yeah. Show her this video.
Yeah.
Especially like the margarita. If you have to take Alexander with you.
Yeah. If we have to, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
there's an option. At least one option now.
At least there's one family-friendly option.
Yeah, exactly. And what is this?
Fish dip that Ted and I really enjoyed. And I didn't really want another fried meal, but this was Mississippi and they had a catfish platter, so I went for it. And it was pretty good, but I really should have listened to my gut on this one because this fried food so frequently is starting to kill me. Then suddenly, an alarm went off. The room turned red and the volcano began to smoke. Like that time Justin Bieber used a smoke machine on his fans. It continued on for a while until the smoke stopped and this happened.
What the fuck was that?
Then after our meal, we hit the arcade. right, Ted, go easy on him. Ted, go easy on him. Ted. And just before the whole thing closed, I played one final game of the world famous Stinky Feet. The thing is, you need 2 players to play Stinky Feet, and Ted was busy on another game, so I charged my card twice and decided to play by myself. When a child no older than 4 walked up, grabbed the water gun, and started playing next to me without saying a word.
Oh.
And after a fierce battle, I won. I beat the child. I am the king of Stinky Feet. Today started with a lunch at—
What the heck?
Oh, man.
I guess they've run out of ideas for arcade games.
Maybe. It's been a long time since I've been to an arcade.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's probably Ocean City.
Probably.
And yeah, that's probably the last time I've been. But
No, never mind. Probably Dave and Buster's.
Oh, yeah.
Dave and
Really?
Buster's. Yeah, probably. It's the last time I went to an arcade.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
There is one near you.
Yeah,
a Rendell Mills, but
I think so.
Owings Mills, probably. I don't know, but
one of the mills.
Probably
one of the mills.
One of the mills, yeah. There's probably one near me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Not exactly our cup of tea.
No.
At the Margaritaville in Destin, Florida. Now this Margaritaville was directly on the water. Unlike, say, the one at Universal City Walk, this one was not themed to be on a beach, it just actually was on a beach. Our lunch here was going to be my first of 2 Margaritaville meals in the day. I got an Uptown Margarita, even though I'm getting pretty tired of having sweet cocktails so often, and also got the jerk salmon. The drink was fine, and the salmon was actually pretty good, especially after a bunch of days of fried and road trip food. The view of our meal also featured a bunch of weird boats. That was just really fun for me to see a lot of boats that looked like they're not supposed to be on the water. We then paid the check and got ready to drive just an hour and a half before we had another Margaritaville meal in Panama City Beach. The PCB location was at this boardwalk area called Pier Park. And even though it was a little bit cloudy, this location was right on the water and beautiful yet again, which was a great distraction because the last thing I wanted to do an hour and a half after my last meal was to eat a meal at the same restaurant in a different location. The interior was pretty big and elaborate compared to some we had seen, but the place was super busy, so Ted and I opted to sit at the bar. I was still so full from the salmon, but I decided to get a chicken quesadilla for my food and a what the fuck was it called? A Ruby Red Renegade for my cocktail. Why did I choose it? Because the name of the vodka in it was called Deep Eddy, and that's my name, so I got it. Even though we were both full and exhausted, at least Ted and I had a perfect view of a very blue-tinted TV screen that exclusively showed Jimmy Buffett's Instagram posts, and boy does this guy know how to post. You had to kind of squint to see what the pictures were because the tint of the TV screen was so blue, but this guy's posting feet for free. Jimmy, you are a celebrity. You can charge for those puppies. Then we headed to the beach to see the sunset, and wow, this was absolutely beautiful. I had a great time wiggling my toes in the sand and staring at the sunset, but you don't get to see my toes because you didn't pay me. In the last 6 days, we had driven over 35 hours and over 2,000 miles.
Guys,
and my stomach was absolutely full of 2 Margaritaville meals. But either way, I couldn't deny that this trip had brought me to such a beautiful spot. Ted and I were even lucky enough to see dolphins out there swimming in the water. I don't think the dolphins saw us, but if they did and are watching this, you saw my toes for free and you owe me money. The drive today was a big one.
That right there, that was very relaxing.
Oh yeah.
Both the beach and I would say those last 2 Margaritaville locations being on the water, like
Yes.
that's another 2 that makes sense. Like, you know, the last one I was saying, like, there was a few rainforest cafes that made sense. There are a few that didn't make sense. Those 2 Margaritavilles made sense to me.
Yeah. You gotta Margaritaville, you know, if you're gonna have a Margaritaville, it better be by damn water. You know what I mean? Like it's in the ethos of the person that made the restaurant.
Right.
It's
Right,
beach
exactly.
life. It's like that's what it is. And honestly, for me, I have turned into such a fan of the Gulf Coast, like
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
Gulf. Oh my God, I'm a massive fan of that. Um, but no, that looks glorious, dude.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
love to like just eat, when you get super full and you just need to like stand up and walk and then have a beach right there.
yeah,
That's
yeah. And then just
paradise.
just go like "Ugh,"
Yep.
with water. Oh, the Gulf of
Yes.
Mexico right in front of you.
Yep.
That's life. That's living life right
Mm.
there.
Going from Panama City Beach to Hollywood Beach, Florida. And I'll be honest, it was pretty
Oh.
taxing. Not only was it a 9-hour drive, but we had multiple stretches of heavy rain.
Oh,
Well,
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy
Florida.
for you guys watching? 9 hours, guys, to get
Yeah.
from the Panhandle to not the southern tip, not even the
Mhm.
southern tip, just kind of southern Florida.
Mhm. Yeah. To a
9
non-American, that would be
hours.
like, "What the hell?" Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Mhm. And like Florida showers, those are a thing,
Yeah.
They'll come and go in like an hour,
And
you
when it's
know?
there, it's like all the water.
Oh yeah.
All the water instantly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why you dress kind of you take stuff with you
Yep.
just in case.
Yep. Yep.
Sounds like the country that makes up most of our audience.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty
Yeah.
much. But at least it's warm rain.
Yeah, exactly. It's not cold
Yeah.
most of the time. Yeah.
And the rain isn't such a big deal. Shut up. Okay, shut up and go tell Mickey Mouse I do not care. Rain is slippery, and slippery is dangerous. We got to the Margaritaville Hotel completely exhausted. This was another massive building. It featured a chandelier of margaritas, and what seemed to be a Jimmy Buffett museum lining the hallway. The restaurant was attached to the hotel, so we sat down exhausted and starving. Now this menu was a bit classier than other locations. We ordered a shrimp ceviche and poke nachos.
Ooh.
Both were pretty good, unlike my ginger margarita, which was not great. But my entree, the lemon tahini bowl, made this the best meal we had so far. Turns out the best meal you could have at Margaritaville is when you have food that isn't from the standard Margaritaville menu. And after an exhausting day, having some decent food and drinks was exactly what I needed. They also had a live band playing, and for the first time at Margaritaville, I was feeling it. I had Jimmy fever. Jimmy's concert footage was playing on screen, and it was a comforting presence after a hard day. After dinner, Ted let me know that he had to last minute record something for his channel, so he got a separate room and I got ours all to myself. But lucky for me, I was kept company because Jimmy was on the hotel TV.
Hi, it's me, Jimmy. Thank you for escaping to Margaritaville. For many years, Margaritaville was only a song about a mythical place. Now, Margaritaville is real.
Watching the hotel TV made me realize just how strikingly handsome and charming Jimmy was.
So now enjoy Margaritaville and remember, fins up.
Fins up, Jimmy. Waking up on day 8, we had...
He's immersing himself in the cult.
Yeah, he has been recruited to
Yep.
the parrot head cult.
Fins up.
Yeah, fans to the left, fans to the right. I mean, in that shot, Jimmy looked like, someone who is a billionaire island owner that, he seems nice. He seems like he can't do no wrong.
Yep. Yep. It's like, wait,
Yeah.
Jimmy or Warren Buffett? Which one? Oh, got it. Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
2 Margaritavilles on the schedule. The first on the list was in Miami. As we headed into the city, we spotted the coolest guy that's ever lived.
What's he doing? Oh, he's flying like a plane.
And then we pulled up to the Miami Margaritaville, which was right on the water. At this point, I am about to give up on trying one cocktail at every Margaritaville. We just drank last night, and it's not even just about the alcohol, it's the sugar when you're having cocktail after cocktail. But for now, I got the last mango in Paris, and good for me, this is one of the best cocktails I've had so far. But a little hungover and exhausted, I spotted a familiar face. I looked up and saw Jimmy once again on the screen, as if to say, "You're all good, pal. Have a good time." I ordered the grilled fish tacos, which for Margaritaville were pretty damn good. Now, if this were at a good taco stand somewhere, they would be mediocre to kind of bad. But for now, they're hitting the spot. Then it was time to book it to Key West, Florida. We got lucky on the drive and just narrowly avoided this storm. But I gotta say, once we actually hit the highway to Key West, this drive was absolutely beautiful. If you're unaware, the Florida Keys are a collection of islands off the mainland of Florida. In American culture, these islands are pretty famous. I'm sure you've heard the Beach Boys talk about it, or our boy Jimmy Buffett himself, whose entire culture around his songs is really based in Key West, Florida. We made our way through the Keys, and I was excited because Key West was the location of the original Margaritaville. And as
I will say though, like Key West is one of the places on my bucket list to go. Yeah. Like that just seems like paradise.
It looks like you need to go there sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Come on, dude. Before you get any sort of tied down or you can enjoy it, go to Paradise, bro.
Yeah. Are you saying I should add that to my list of places in 2024?
Yeah. The fact that you're not there already. In fact, you could already be there.
I could if I wanted to.
No one knows.
Yeah.
No, But yeah, man. No, that's definitely the place to be. You know.
Yeah. Have you been?
I've been once. You know, and if you think about it, it's paradise. It's almost Bahamas. Down that way.
Yeah.
It's as close as you can get. Technically it's a big ass sandbar. The Keys are just a big ass sandbar that won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
and someone built you know, those connecting things. I can't remember what they're called. And so people can drive to it and
bridges. Connecting things. I love that. Absolutely. You know, those things that connect land masses that we've bridges. Oh yeah, that one.
You're the one with the foggy brain, not me.
The connected things, you know? I love that. I'm gonna use that from now on.
Do it. Go ahead.
We're gonna drive over this connecty thing. What? The connecty thing that attaches lands together.
Here's the thing.
That's the connecty thing. But yes, you're right. They have a lot of connecty things out in the Keys. It's the only way to get there.
Pretty much. Yeah.
We arrived to the first Margaritaville restaurant, I was pretty surprised by how local it felt. I mean, the rest of the Margaritaville locations we went to felt like a big and branded American chain. And while this one was definitely still themed, it felt more preserved from another time rather than this huge corporate thing. We were feeling pretty good, so Ted and I decided to order some drinks. I got a Who's to Blame because it's from the lyrics of the Margaritaville song. I decided to get a cheeseburger in Paradise because it just felt right to get at this location. Everything was just going really well. My burger tasted a little bit more like a local burger than a chain burger. And in such a tropical location, I mean, how can you not enjoy yourself? After being done with dinner, we headed to the hotel. Yet again, I am happy we had a sponsor for this thing because, oh my god, I would not be paying for this shit by myself. The location was right on the beach, so after checking in, we decided to go relax and see the sunset. Last year, when we did our Rainforest Cafe road trip, it was fun, but also incredibly taxing. But the last few days on the beach were just too beautiful to stress about this entire road trip. And that's when it finally happened. Staring out at the water, I felt my stress melt and wash away with the tides. Even though we'd driven over 40 hours in 8 days, and even though my last 5 meals in a row were all Margaritaville, I got it. I understood. Jimmy Buffett wasn't just some guy who turned one hit song into a corporate empire. He's the king of being chill and enjoying yourself. Right where my toes wiggled in the sand is where Jimmy started this whole thing. I can't do this trip like Eddie would. I have to do it like Jimmy, because no matter how stressed I get in life, mentally I have to be just like Jimmy Buffett. You come to a place like this and you can forget about wars, famine, class disparity. I mean, all that stuff is still happening, but I'm in Florida and I had a margarita today. Liking Buffett isn't some weird cult thing. It's what can fix me.
Man, he finally gets it. And he seems a lot more relaxed now.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Rainforest Cafe.
Well, see, I would have done the northern ones first and end with the tour through paradise, because you're not going to get the tropical beaches and the nice beaches and that weather. You're going to go up north where things are faster thrown at you.
Right.
No one gives a shit about the food industry, up north.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's not culture.
No one gets relaxed lifestyles up north. It's impossible.
Hell no, absolutely not. Which is why I think we're both happy living out in the country right now, where it's slow paced and we can take our time.
100%.
And have terrible Wi-Fi. And
100. Oh my God, 100%. Oh, but at a price I'm gladly paying.
Yeah, you and me both, brother. You and me both.
Yeah.
The next morning, I woke up feeling better than I ever have in my entire life. And as I was going through my bag, I mysteriously found an article of clothing that I had never packed. This shirt not only looked great on me, but also had put itself on my merch website, yikeshop.com. And you can get it by going there and clicking the link in the description? What the hell? That's so weird. Anyways, I felt refreshed.
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not a Hawaiian shirt. It's just a shirt. It's a margarita shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Exactly. There's a big difference.
Massive.
Mm-hmm.
Was ready to head back to mainland Florida. Today's plan was just to drive up to Orlando and stay at the Margaritaville resort there. We decided to give ourselves one break day because it's near the halfway point, and then the next day we'd be going to Universal Studios Orlando, where there's a Margaritaville restaurant at their City Walk. The resort in Orlando was giant. Now, Ted was a little bit late to the bookings of the resort, but luckily, even though they ran out of rooms at the hotel, they had these cottages for him to stay in. I instantly just felt relaxed, surrounded by my favorite quotes from my favorite guy. Oh, and also it was nice to be with my lovely girlfriend, Chrissy. Margaritaville! Chrissy actually wrote a song last year about wanting to live her life at Margaritaville, but unfortunately for her, that's my life now, so that's my thing. The two of us had a bit of a date night and had a fun night walking around Disney Springs, enjoying the sights and just having a nice time.
Not again!
Today is not as interesting. We were just hanging out in Orlando. I got footage of this manatee eating some lettuce, so that's pretty cool. We were also hanging out with... Did you get it? We were hanging out with Drew Gooden, my good friend Drew Gooden. But Drew and Amanda did join us on the Rainforest Cafe trip in Orlando last year. So I figured, of course, I would ask them if they wanted to do it again. Do you want to go to Margaritaville?
No, it's just one dinner. I'm not eating dinner right now. Do it again. It's tomorrow. Your place. You live here anyway. I want to go home. You can do it whenever. I don't want to.
Back when we were in Biloxi, I feel that I was a bit misguided in how I felt about Jimmy. Staying at our third Margaritaville resort brought me so much comfort. Jimmy was constantly speaking to me and reminding me to be calm, to breathe in and appreciate the beach, and also to drink alcohol. Leaving the resort, though, we were headed to Universal Studios Islands of Adventure because Margaritaville was located just outside the park at City Walk in Orlando. Before we entered the park, Chrissy got this awesome hat. I also tried on a hat that I was totally pulling off. Am I pulling it off? But I decided against it because I didn't want everyone at the park to be jealous of me today. We then entered the park, and immediately Ted got something called Who Hash, which is, you know, a Dr. Seuss themed food that looks like it's served out of a dog food can.
Cindy, that's her name.
Cindy Lou Who.
Tastes like Cindy Lou Who. Or, I don't know, the mayor.
We then spent the day going on rides and having fun, but right before we left, Chrissy and I decided to go on the Cat in the Hat ride. This ride was absolutely terrifying. What the hell is this? Is this supposed to be for children? Because this would absolutely terrify me as a kid. It terrified me right now.
Oh my god.
And after being absolutely traumatized by the Cat in the Hat ride, we decided to go to the Margaritaville just outside. This one had an extra bar across the walkway with a plane next.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I'm glad that, you know, the Cat in the Hat movie totally tanked.
Yeah.
For that reason. Like, low key, that's one of the scariest things ever.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some things shouldn't be made into real life. Some things are just better left as a cartoon.
Yeah. Or a book.
A book. Yeah.
Just a regular book.
No.
Yeah.
We decided to go to the Margaritaville just outside. This one had an extra bar across the walkway with a plane next to it, and this is where I figured out that every time you see a plane in Margaritaville, it's a replica of Jimmy's personal seaplane, the Hemisphere Dancer. Wait a minute, quick clarification here, this is the actual fucking plane. They retired Jimmy's plane and it is decoration at the Margaritaville in Orlando. I was next to Jimmy's real plane and I had no idea, I'm such an idiot. When we sat down for dinner, I got the Huli Huli chicken and shrimp, and this dish sucked. The chicken was fine, but the shrimp was really dry.
Oh my god.
But hey, just like my favorite guy, I spent the day in the sun, I ate some food and had a margarita by the water, and also got to see Margaritaville employees on stilts. It's always fun to see somebody on stilts. You're not supposed to be that tall, and I'll be quite honest, it'd be funny if you fell over. The next day, I had to say goodbye to Chrissy as we headed out from the Margaritaville resort. Whoa. To meet at the truck, we had to head to the cottages that Ted was staying in, and I got a good look at this neighborhood. Who would have thought that Jimmy also owns full neighborhoods across the country? And normally this would make me feel kind of weird, but I'm just glad that they're providing housing to those in need. Retired people in Orlando. Once again, we hit the road, headed for Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, we're not eating at the Margaritaville there tonight, we're actually doing it tomorrow afternoon, which is great because my stomach is on fire. But I've learned from Jimmy, you know, all of it is worth it at the end of the day when you're rewarded with a tropical location. And looking at the rest of the trip, I can't wait to explore the other tropical locations this nation has to offer. Margaritaville's in places like Atlanta, Georgia, Syracuse, New York, or Cleveland, Ohio. So yeah, I might be
Oh my god. Direct representations of each of those states right there. Those pictures were just, I mean, spot on. Guys, come over there. You can see the beautiful, tropical, crisp blue waters of, what did we say, Cleveland?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, pristine waters.
I mean, I can't believe they glossed over the oceanfront property in Arizona.
Yeah.
You know?
Massive, massive. I mean, their beaches are some of the best.
Yeah. But
they never mention their oceans, but their beaches are amazing.
Yeah. Or the beaches in Cheyenne, you know?
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
But then again, this isn't a video about George Strait or Garth Brooks. This is about Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah. Maybe that's for another video.
Maybe he's working on it this year.
Yeah. If it's not Hard Rock Cafe.
Kill me. That would take him forever. That would take him forever, dude.
speaking to soon, but I'm pretty confident that I totally won't get tired of Margaritaville. When we woke up in Myrtle Beach, we didn't get to see the beach or the ocean at all because we had to go straight to the Margaritaville. This will start a stretch of 4 Margaritaville meals in a row. This one was located at Heroes Harbor and was pretty standard for most Margaritavilles, except for the giant Margaritaville hurricane on the ceiling hovering above one of their giant blenders. Due to the fact that I was going to have Margaritaville a second time today, I decided to take it easy and get a grilled chicken sandwich. The sandwich was, wet? It didn't seem like this was butter or anything. It tasted like water. I'll be honest, this morning I am out of energy and my chicken sandwich is super bland. Normal Eddie would be bummed. But it was like I could almost feel Jimmy's large, warm hands on my shoulder as I took in a breath and pictured myself on the beach. Pixelated toes wiggling in the sand. Suddenly, I was okay again. Immediately after Heroes Harbor, we had to book it to Atlanta, Georgia. Our schedule was very tight, so we had to get to Atlanta before we went to bed that night, because the next day we had a very long drive and 2 Margaritavilles to hit. But on our drive, traffic completely stopped.
Oh, man.
Stuck on the highway. I have to pee. The delay was so long that we ended up calling the Margaritaville and asking when they closed because our ETA was 10 p.m. Luckily, they said the kitchen was open until 11, so we were fine if we got there an hour early. But when we arrived, we found the doors were locked, and when we asked one of the employees, they said they closed the kitchen early. This would completely ruin the next week of planning for us. But Ted threw a Hail Mary and told them that we were going to every Margaritaville in the country and that we absolutely needed to eat here tonight, but we didn't want to bother them. So if there was any way they could even give us like a bowl of chips to eat, that would be enough. And the manager said, I got you. So they had us sit down and the bar was open, but the kitchen was absolutely closed. They got us margaritas and then brought out a piping hot plate of ribs, fries, and spinach and artichoke dip. Ted and I were kind of in disbelief because they had no reason to do this for us, but they just did it because they saw we kind of needed some help with our extremely stupid road trip. And all the manager asked was that we just give her a good Google and Yelp review, so we absolutely did that. We of course left a tip. And I just gotta say, this is not me praising the Margaritaville Corporation, it was just every single employee in there was so nice to us. They did not have to do that. We are 2 guys doing the stupidest thing in the world, and they did not need to do any extra work for us, and I am very grateful that they did. So thank you to everybody who works there. It is
Wow.
That is amazing.
Yeah, man.
Good human beings work at the Atlanta Margaritaville.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's probably the best PR they got right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's better than Yelp and whatever with this man's video.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, to know that there's good humans that work there, like that is a big win for all the locations that are not on a beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
7 a.m. It is now day 14. 2 whole weeks of my life on Margaritaville. Today was another double Margaritaville day that included 8 to 9 hours of driving. Ted caught up on some sleep as I drove, both of us mentally exhausted. And as we got to downtown Nashville to have lunch, we walked our way to the Margaritaville. This one was pretty standard. You know, it had live music, a tiki room, and a plane on the ceiling.
I've been to that one. When I went to Nashville for my birthday this year, I briefly stepped in there while I was trying to drink at every single bar, which did not work out. But I will say I did enter in there. I realized it wasn't really my vibe. Didn't really feel Nashville enough for me, so I dipped out of there. But I guess I might come now because of that.
Well, I mean, it's its own vibe. That's the whole draw of the place.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the place's vibe. It's a Margaritaville vibe.
Right.
You know, it doesn't match the vibe of the area it's in. It's a vacation spot for those who can't vacation.
Yeah. I mean, even though Jimmy Buffett, it could technically be classified as a country singer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it describes his style as Gulf and Western, you know.
Yeah.
So,
To me, I put him in country. I put him in country.
Right.
I have to because I live my life simple.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
like
I'm with you
he's
there.
country, just a subgenre of country.
Yeah. So it makes sense kind of for it to be there, but it's next to, the bars of Jason Aldean, Alan Jackson.
Who make more sense to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Did I want to be in another standard Margaritaville eating another standard Margaritaville meal? Not exactly, but it's not about what I want, it's about what Jimmy would do. I got a Southwest chicken salad, and when the salad arrived, the chicken was so dry. Which is fine, I don't have a problem with that at all. In fact, I think that's cool as hell. Give me another margarita. Yeah, I could give me another margarita. Margaritaville, number 12, I think. How you feeling, Ted?
I'm fucking losing it.
Then it was time to head for the 13th in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Now, Pigeon Forge is famous for its theme park, Dollywood. Now, Dollywood is a magical place created by country legend Dolly Parton.
This is the season for Dollywood.
And to be honest, I would love to check this out, but we have no time to do anything on this trip but go to Margaritavilles. Heading into Pigeon Forge, their main street reminded me a lot of the Wisconsin Dells where I went frequently as a kid. Both feel like Vegas strips for Midwest family tourists. The Pigeon Forge Margaritaville was a hotel and a restaurant, but I did not expect it to be in the middle of this huge entertainment center with a Ferris wheel. Ted and I were splitting this very interesting room. It was covered in Margaritaville branding and also had a balcony that went out into the shopping center. We headed down for dinner, and this Margaritaville restaurant was pretty standard except for 2 giant jugs of margarita ingredients with piping that led to the restaurant's blender. At this point, I can say that we are officially burnt out. 13 meals at the same restaurant in 14 days. But in times like these, it's important to turn to faith. A higher power that can give you strength. I need to think WWJD. What would Jimmy do? If Jimmy didn't want a single bite of this food or a margarita, he'd kick off his sandals, throw his feet on the table, lean back, and order a cheeseburger in paradise and another margarita? I mean, if that's what Jimmy would do, I guess. There's
a missed opportunity there, but he's probably not a country fan to say, funny you should ask, Alan.
Yeah right? Missed opportunity.
I'll bet he doesn't say it once in this whole thing.
No.
Oh well.
But he's a vlogger, not a country music head. You know what I mean?
Right. He's not Grady Smith, who's the only country music vlogger I can think of.
Nope.
Yeah.
Every single bite of it, and I was very glad that Jimmy was keeping a watchful eye on me the entire meal. I ate the entire thing. I wasn't sick of this food or extremely full. I was cool as a cucumber. Does this look like the face of somebody who isn't as chill as Jimmy Buffett? To prove how chill I was, I decided to grab this hat from the gift shop, and I was totally pulling it off. Ted went to finish his video in the room, and a chill guy like me decided to cruise around and see the sights. Normally, even though I don't have a fear of heights, I've generally avoided Ferris wheels. I also don't like doing things socially in public when I'm alone, like riding a ride. But I wasn't normal me anymore. I'd been born again as something much better. Cool Eddie. So when I got in line, I spotted the family ahead of me being forced to take a green screen picture before getting on the ride. And I thought, they're not gonna force me to take that picture by myself, right?
Let me hear you say hallelujah. Let me hear you say I am blessed.
I got on that Ferris wheel and was totally...
That right there, that picture is just the face of someone who's given up.
Yep.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. If you're retired and, you can afford to give up like that, give up.
Yep.
But
I love that, though.
Not until that point.
Yep. You keep fighting.
Yeah.
Man.
Although I would dress like that in a heartbeat. I'm not going to lie.
No, I stopped caring a long time ago. A long time ago. Like, There was a span this year where I didn't wear real shoes for like 6 months.
Really?
Or maybe it's like 3 months in a row. I didn't wear like proper shoes. I was like in flip-flops. I was like, this is my best life.
Just the way you're saying it right now is just making it for me.
I'm just like I'm like full dad mode. Like I just like
yeah.
I have so much other shit to care about. I don't need to care about anything else. I've reached my quota for giving a shit.
You have no more fucks to give.
I have no more fucks to give at all.
Chill the whole time. I am not worried about how high up we're going. Oh, we're shaking. Oh. So chill, in fact, that I fell asleep while on the ride. Swear to God, I was dead asleep. After I felt phenomenal. Normal Eddie wouldn't have gone on that Ferris wheel alone, but thanks to Jimmy, I have faith. The next day, all we had to do was drive from Tennessee to Atlantic City, New Jersey. After yesterday, I have absolutely zero complaints about the trip. I'm chill, I'm fun, I'm not exhausted in the slightest, and because of that, I decided to catch up on a little bit of reading from my favorite guy. Do you know that Jimmy Buffett is 76 years young?
Cool.
Joe, Jimmy actually has over 30 albums, most of which have gone gold, platinum, or some even have gone multi-platinum. They would hoot and holler and roll all round up there at the church they built out of an old school bus, and they'd run through the swamp. Don't you know nobody fucked with Reverend Sonny Boy and his followers? Snakebite Key was his domain. We started day 16 at the Margaritaville in Atlantic City. This one was located inside of a casino, and even though it was 11:30, I got a margarita for Jimmy. I enjoyed my morning margarita because that's the kind of guy that I am now. Other than that though, this was a pretty uneventful Margaritaville. The waiter complimented my shirt, which you could get at yikeshop.com. My lava lava shrimp was crispy and I liked the sauce. I was having a great time. I even saw oars on the wall of Jimmy's most famous moments, like when he performed for Facebook, when he played the electric guitar, when he rocked on, and when he had a mustache. Then we headed to the beach to see the ocean so I could really take in the atmosphere. New Jersey. Next, we made our way to New York City. Now, normally, staying in Times Square would be my nightmare. New York is great, but the crowds, the germs, and the general vibe of Times Square is a fever dream. But Cool Eddie didn't think about those things, so we checked into the hotel and went to our rooms.
This is the whole room.
When we headed downstairs, before we went up the escalator to go to the restaurant, I was talking to one of the employees and they gave me a warning. They said, don't order the Jimmy's Jammin' Jambalaya. And I said, why? They replied with, it's bad. Steer clear of it. So I will not be getting that right now. As we walked into the restaurant, a shining beacon caught my eye. In the center of the room was a giant replica of the Statue of Liberty holding a margarita to the sky. The margarita glass was made out of an LED screen that played video on it. This was a shining beacon of light for all of those across the world who wanted to head to America and eat at a Margaritaville in Times Square. And this wasn't just the Statue of Liberty. This was a sign from Jimmy that I had not gone far enough. So we ordered some food and some drinks with Ted's friends Katie and Devin, and this is where I decided to go all in. Anytime I felt a moment of being tired on this road trip or wanted to go home, I'd cut it short with another sip of a margarita. And we had margarita after margarita. The Margaritaville in Times Square also has bars on multiple floors. So we decided to do the Margaritaville bar crawl. Drink after drink, I could feel myself becoming closer to the man himself. And as Ted headed home for the night, I wandered around Times Square. I was invincible. I could make a beach out of anything. And it was then that I saw the absolute beauty of this place. Times Square was just like the beaches I'd been to. And I could live like this every night for the rest of my life.
All right.
Dude, I've been to New York City like 7 times. You do not get drunk in Times Square.
No.
you will probably get pickpocketed at minimum and probably shanked or worse.
Yeah.
More realistically.
So they were staying at the Margaritaville Hotel?
Yeah, in Times Square.
Yeah, so that was probably the safest bar crawl you could do, is floor by floor.
Yeah, floor by floor.
Yeah.
Just
the fact that he went out drunk. I mean, or maybe he might not be drunk. I don't know. I don't know how he shoots his stuff, but yeah, he probably has more common sense than that, but still absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
See, for me, like, and we've done somewhat like this before, like party hard where you're at. Don't be traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Travel, like go to places, come back, and then party when you're stationary.
Yeah, have a game plan.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Like, and I will say the last time I was in New York when I went to go see Sam Fender.
Yeah.
I did get a little bit drunk at that show, and I went to a pizza place and sobered up, and I didn't walk back to Union Station to catch my train until I sobered up.
Yep, that's where to go.
If you're not a native New Yorker, don't walk around New York.
And especially not drunk.
Yeah, don't do that.
It is 7 in the morning. I fear that last night I jimmied a little too close to the sun. I don't know how Jimmy does this. I don't know how you can sustain this lifestyle. After getting out of bed, I got locked in the bathroom. As we make our way out of New York, I need to be honest with you. I know this may come as a shock, but I have not been loving every single Margaritaville. I just can't do it. I can't be like Jimmy. But we were headed to yet another in Syracuse, New York, with Ted's friend Tucker. Pulling up in Syracuse, it seemed to be a mall called Destiny USA. Not exactly a tropical beach somewhere. I parked in a different spot from everyone else and got lost in the mall.
Here we go again with the whole mall thing.
Yep.
I think this might be the first one in a mall.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is a good credit to them.
Yeah.
Smart. Well done.
Yeah. Well done. Margaritaville and also Eddie, and I can't remember his friend's name, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Trying to find them, so I went to this guy Spencer for directions. Word of advice, do not go in there.
Yeah, don't go in there.
No.
It's been linked to my name for a couple of times, and every time I'm like, I don't know those people. I don't associate with them.
Spencer's.
And
Man.
I learned about it way too early before puberty hit me, and I didn't understand it.
Holy crap, Spencer's, man. Absolutely wild.
Mm-hmm. For our non-American audience, in the States, Spencer's is a store that sells a lot of adult-themed items.
Yes. A lot.
Yeah.
It was in my mall when I was growing up as a kid. So I was the same way. I walked in there, I'm like, I'm not supposed to be in here. This is wild. I'm like, get out of here. Let me. But yeah.
Yep.
I just remember like the pot leaves were everywhere in that store, just like from the entrance to the back. Nothing wrong with that now, but I was just like, what is this? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know they were still around, to be honest.
They are in the select malls that are still alive in America.
Wow.
And fun fact, Spencer's is the parent company of Spirit Halloween.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's really where they make their money, basically September through November 1.
Yep. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
Arriving to this Margaritaville, it was clear that this one was probably the worst we'd ever seen. It was a lifeless Margaritaville in a mall, the food was below average, and if it wasn't for good conversation in the group, I would have really hated this lunch. Next up was Niagara Falls, so yet again, the boys were headed to Canada.
Any plants or animals coming in?
No.
Any alcohol or tobacco?
No.
Any cannabis in your car?
No.
Any guns in your vehicle?
No.
Any currency of $10,000 or more?
No. Once we were through the border, we decided to park and walk over to the Margaritaville. And the energy at the Niagara Falls Margaritaville was different. We were seated next to a massive Niagara Falls screen. And aside from the projector waterfall, the menu was different and they had this pirate mascot guy. Hey Canada, Jimmy's the mascot. You don't need a pirate. Jimmy's already there. I got the buffalo poutine because we were in Canada, and to my surprise, this was by far the best thing I've had at Margaritaville. The chicken and fries were crispy, the gravy was really good. This was just a really great meal. And then just over the falls, a giant animatronic of a tequila bottle came over the cliffside. It then poured tequila into the giant blender in front of us. We were having a blast in Canada. We then decided to walk over to the falls. I saw this skunk on the way, check it out. As we were showing up to the falls, we happened to catch it right at the time that the fireworks show started. With a couple drinks in us, we had the best possible time in Canada. I should have a couple margaritas every night.
You sure about that?
Dude, if it's one drink I just can't handle it anymore, it's
tequila?
A margarita.
Margarita?
No, it's a margarita for sure. Tequila, enough will handle me. You know what I mean?
Mm,
But
yeah.
Margaritas, man, that triple sec crushes me.
Yeah.
Like, I need like some instant Prilosec OTC if I'm gonna be drinking margaritas, man.
Mm-hmm. I get it, man, and that's why I keep up with my Prilosec. That is,
excuse me, guys.
And
man.
I guess it's the Irish in me that can still handle it. But then again, I got 5 years left to figure that out. So.
Yeah, man. Hey.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's just interesting how it affects your body.
It just all stops. There's like a full stop one day.
Really?
And you won't know when that day is.
Oh my God.
You're just like, hey, your body's like, hey, let's just not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, in your mind's like, but why? And your body's like, oh, because fuck you. We're doing our own thing
you,
now.
that's why.
Yeah, it's fuck you. Yeah, we're done listening to you.
Oh my God.
So.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. It's also interesting that both the Rainforest Cafe and Margaritaville, the best one thus far, was in Niagara Falls on the Canada side.
No, the best one for them was probably at the tropical beach, one of the tropical beaches.
Yeah.
But the best food, Canada.
Right, best food. Yeah, yep. They took that part seriously.
Yep.
Maybe different laws in Canada.
Probably because they pay their staff.
There you go.
So just saying, it's not part of the food industry. It's actually a food industry. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Bad news, guys. My tummy hurts again.
I don't care anymore. I'm over this whole thing. Today we went to Cleveland, the most tropical Margaritaville that exists. I got a Caesar salad and the chicken on this thing. Wow. Without exaggeration, this was the toughest piece of chicken I've ever chewed in my entire life. And for some reason, out of nowhere, Ted has started liking Margaritaville now? What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Lucky for me, day 19 was in Chicago. Ted and I took the metro into the city because this one was located at Navy Pier. Now, I've mentioned before that I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, so it was really great to be home. And when we arrived to the city, it got even better because we met up with my brother, Tony. When we finally got to Navy Pier, we also met up with my good friend Danny Gonzalez. Heading into this Margaritaville, I was surprised to see that it looked more like a Chicago tavern than a regular Margaritaville restaurant. Everyone in the group obviously wanted margaritas, and I didn't want to be a buzzkill, so I went for another one again. We noticed that the photos for the fish and chips made them look higher quality than we'd seen before, so out of curiosity, I ordered them again. They looked almost exactly the same. And even though everyone except for me was excited to eat, after the meal, none of us felt good.
Okay, so we just got out of Margaritaville, and we're all feeling like we had a pretty heavy meal, but I think I know what'll make us feel better.
Couldn't stop my tummy from hurting. What makes it worse is that Jimmy wouldn't have a tummy ache. He'd probably be cool and chill about all this. I am such a failure.
All right, we're about to leave my mom's, but I can understand why I felt so bad after eating the fish and chips. I woke up and my stomach is legitimately like, I'm in a little bit of pain. It's not like food poisoning or anything. I just think my body cannot handle this much Margaritaville.
Eventually, I got my stuff together and...
So, it's not just the margaritas, it's the fried food.
Yeah. Which is an interesting choice. He's sticking with fried so, like, diligently. And I'm like, bro, you got to get a salad once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, had a few, like, Asian-y dishes, a few salads with very dry chicken.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm noticing that, too, myself. I guess for you, it's alcohol. Me, it's fried food, like fast food. Like, it's starting to take away from my productivity because that time is being split between this throne and that throne.
The porcelain one. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah, that's about how I feel after eating fast food now.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much.
I limit it to once a week now.
Yes, and guys, I apologize for coughing. I am sick, so it is a suck that we must embrace.
Oh, wow. You're a trooper, man.
Man, we're doing it.
It's so hard being a YouTuber, like Eddie said earlier in the video.
Yeah, right. Huh. Oh man.
We started the drive to Bloomington, Minnesota to go to the Margaritaville in Mall of America. During the drive, however, I found out that I was not the only one who was affected by yesterday's fish and chips.
So, Ted and I both got the fish and chips yesterday. And we've had some, let's say, stomach issues today.
Yeah.
So I think I can officially say that we're getting pretty damn tired of eating Margaritaville all the time.
Well, it's right.
What do you mean?
You had intestinal trouble today. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, like, the vibes kind of counteracted it a little bit.
The vibes counteracted? What are you talking about? You're unhappy while we're on tropical beaches through all of Florida.
I don't know. I think my I realized I had some self-reflection. I realized some things were maybe a little bit different than I was saying.
The day you had self-reflection is the day you had diarrhea?
Finally, we got to Mall of America, the largest mall in the United States. So
that is you to a T right there. It takes you a while to come up and come around to something.
Yes. But I mean, I would find myself at the beach, not in Ohio.
Yeah, or Minnesota.
Yeah, no.
Or Niagara Falls.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
So I could have Margaritaville for the 20th time. And Ted seemed more excited than ever for absolutely no reason. Not only are there more Margaritavilles than Rainforest Cafes, but this one is taking a toll on my body and I cannot wait to be done. As we entered the biggest mall that the US has to offer, I felt a disturbing energy. Oh God. I had somehow forgotten that this Margaritaville was directly across from the Rainforest Cafe. The two restaurants that have broken my soul and made me look like a fool, sharing a space right next to each other. We headed inside to get this one over with, and as I went to order a water, Ted ordered us 2 5 o'clock somewheres in a blender and an order of volcano nachos. The thought of drinking one of these drinks just 6 hours after trying to recover from yesterday's meal was sickening. And before I knew it, a giant mound of nachos arrived at the table. But somehow, next to my misery, was Ted, enjoying himself to a weird degree for the first time at the 20th Margaritaville. Then it was time for our entrees, and I realized that in my attempt to order as much of the menu as possible, I had only a few chances left to get a dish that I had been avoiding. One that sent shivers down my spine just hearing the name. Jimmy's Jammin' Jambalaya.
What are you
As I went for a bite, I clearly burned my mouth right here. I burned the shit out of my mouth. It doesn't look hot when you look at the plate, but when I picked it up on a fork, look at the steam, my God. Jimmy's Jammin' Jambalaya was fine. But when you eat at a restaurant 20 times in 20 days, everything from them starts to taste the same. And instead of joining me in my misery, Ted, yet again, was having a blast at the Mall of America.
Look at the way he's eating when he's driving me up the fucking wall. I just can't fucking second trip in a row he's doing the exact same bullshit.
I know. That's when, for the first time, the thought crossed my mind. I might kill Ted. After finishing our meal and paying, Ted demanded that we go on a roller coaster immediately.
I mean, can you let me digest for like...
yeah, fuck that, come on.
After the troubles of this morning, and forcing down this meal, and having another super sweet cocktail, going on this ride broke me. Even though they didn't let us film, Ted insisted on going on the ride a second time right after we got off. So nauseous and tired, I walked around alone. There I was again, wasting away in Margaritaville. Not chill like Jimmy, just Eddie. Day 21, and thank God we only have one Margaritaville left in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's another one in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it's a 10-hour drive. Oh my God. When we arrived in Tulsa, we were shocked to find that this restaurant wasn't just in a casino. The casino was owned by Margaritaville. Walking past the slot machines to get to the restaurant, I noticed that there were Jimmy Buffett quotes on the wall, but they were less about being peaceful and more about luck and winning in the casino. We got to the restaurant and this one was pretty big. Lucky for me, the menu and food quality at this one was much better than most Margaritavilles. And having this food was actually pretty refreshing after a month of cheeseburgers in paradise. But as we left dinner, I noticed how Margaritaville branded the machines in the casino were. And they had these Margaritaville characters on it that I had never seen before. Mr. Moneybags? Lucky Ducky? Who the hell are these people? Ted and I were on the final stretch across the country, and all we had to do today was camp at Santa Rosa Lake in New Mexico. On our way, I stopped to buy snacks at the gas station when this dog came out of nowhere and was just hanging out near me. Whose dog is this? I'm in a gas station. Anyways, I grabbed my snacks and then, hey. The owner said it was his dog. His name was Buddy, and he was very sweet. We got to our campsite, and it was beautiful. Ted made some steaks on the grill, and I made a little spread of meats and cheeses for us to snack on. Having a full day to enjoy ourselves and nature got me thinking. As we near the end of this road trip, I realized that maybe I was trying a little too hard to be like Jimmy Buffett. And on our way to Vegas, I questioned why I had strived to be a beloved, rich, and famous musician that gets to vacation all the time. I mean, what was I thinking? I don't need to be Jimmy Buffett. I need to be myself. And to truly be myself, I need to face what I fear most. Something that has been haunting me for over a year of my life. And finally, I think I'm ready.
Stand right there. Ted, we are headed to the final Margaritaville. But what do you say we make one pit stop first? Do you want to go to the Rainforest Cafe and get one drink?
I do.
The Las Vegas Rainforest Cafe was just as I had remembered it. It had a Tracy tree, a cheetah, elephants, monkeys, and of course... thunderstorms. Ted and I got 2 cheetah-ritas, and man, they were bad. But to my surprise, I liked being back. It was comforting in a way. Not like being home, but sort of like when you pass your old high school and it feels familiar, but you'd never want to spend a full day there ever again. After our quick pit stop, Ted and I said goodbye to the cafe and we're ready to close this whole thing out.
I mean, when it's not forced down your gullet every single day of a road trip across the United States, yeah, I guess you could find comfort in it.
He got Stockholm syndrome, dude.
Yeah.
He had Stockholm syndrome, bro. Like, yeah, he missed it. He missed it, man. Oh, God.
That sounds about right. But anyway, one more.
We walked just 2 blocks down the strip and finally arrived at the final Margaritaville. This one was one of the busiest and most decorated Margaritavilles of the entire trip. And for the first time, I truly felt it. We ordered 2 perfect margaritas and a key lime pie, a dessert to end our 24-day Margaritaville meal. Turns out I can experience true joy like Jimmy, but only when I'm done doing a thing that I have to do. Our pies arrived, and as the key lime hit my mouth, it tasted like one thing. Victory. And that was it. We had eaten at every single Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville in the US and Canada. Finally, I could go home. We were done. Again. And the only thing left to do was to say goodbye to the man that had helped me through this whole thing. Goodbye, Jimmy. Goodbye, Jimmy. Goodbye, Jimmy. Goodbye, Jimmy's dog. Goodbye, Jimmy. I truly cannot believe that we did this a second time. And after celebrating our accomplishment that night in Vegas, Ted and I ended our journey looking out on the strip in the exact same spot we had just 1 year before. Our second and final road trip doing something like this was now over. And these 2 journeys have done so much for me. I've been able to see so many beautiful locations across this country. I've been able to make countless memories with people that I love and care about. As a person, I've been able to grow and learn more about myself. But these trips were about something so much more than all of those things. What it's all about at the end of the day is giving 2 giant corporations a ton of my money. And knowing that I did that means that I wouldn't trade these trips for the world. Not even if my family was in danger and doing so would save them. So now, after just 45 days of our lives, Ted and I are the only 2 people on the planet that can say we've been to every rainforest cafe and Margaritaville in the US and Canada. It's actually not that impressive. Oh my god, was this a giant waste of time? 45 days, that doesn't even count when I planned both trips or when we were editing our videos? Oh my god. Oh no. Oh!
Eddie, I say job well done. You and Ted. It's a question that nobody ever asked, but we have the answer now.
Hey.
People don't know what they are curious about. They don't know what they want until you put it in front of them. And you put this in front of us, and for that, we thank you.
I will never seek out a Rainforest Cafe and or Margaritaville on purpose. If I'm at a beach and I look over and there's a Margaritaville right there and I'm hungry, so be it.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet in my life. So,
oh well.
Maybe it's the way I'm living my life. Maybe I need to change that.
I don't think so, man.
No, man.
There are a lot better options, but good to know that it's a semi-decent option that won't. I don't know.
Well,
I don't even know what to say about Margaritaville now.
Listen, it's not even about the food, guys. This is about a road trip. This is a road trip. This is a road trip with your buddy. This is 3 weeks.
Yeah.
How much do you think they spent on this thing?
Oh man.
Had to be 10 minimum. Maybe more. Maybe 15. The whole thing.
Probably. I'm just thinking
because those did not look like cheap hotels at all.
Yeah.
And then price of fuel.
And I'm just thinking the food alone.
Oh yeah.
Food alone is probably
drinks
between 2 people, 2 drinks $60 each for 2 people, food and drinks alone, and times that by what was it, 24?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, I'm glad sponsors sent them there or helped send them there. So
yeah. So
that's the goal. We gotta rally our sponsors, guys.
Yeah, we gotta get some sponsorships.
Come on, Apple. I'm kidding.
Come on, Better Health.
Yeah, HelloFresh. Who is another good one? I don't know yet, but
yeah, we'll figure that out.
We'll be in touch.
We'll calculate the numbers, and if you're still watching at the end of this, thank you.
Legends.
You are an OG. You better hit that subscribe button and hit the like and go watch something that's around our faces, or click a link, something. And what Dan, what should they do after that?
Listen, in the vein of this video, make sure you unplug and do something legendary and go exploring.
Exactly. That's the best way to put it. We'll see you next time.
Later, guys.
fellas. We can be that mistake. Let's do this.